All right, Mopar people, welcome back to the channel. I'm just Mopar Joe. Today I'm working on my 1972 Dodge D100, I call lunch break. So I am on my actual lunch break right now, working on this thing. I've got to protect my investment and put it back together now. So if you leave an engine sitting wide open to the elements, I've had this covered, but wide open to the elements for a long time, dust and critters and rust and funk and all the stuff finds its way into your engine. So I went ahead, took me about 30 minutes earlier today. I clearance for my push rods and I'm ready to put my heads on now. I can do all my small things while my Smith Brothers push rods are on the way here. Great, I can get my heads on, headers on, all the accessories on the front of my engine. Everything should be happy and ready to go. I did a lot of grinding on the heads. I promise you there's enough room now. Let me show you. I know it's not pretty, but I was in a hurry. So you can see how this is sank down now. Before it was a straight line across there. I don't even think there was a bump at all. So I did more work on the intake side, mostly through here, but I went ahead and started out there and then I shoved it all the way through. So I've got lots of room every direction. It's gonna be great. I have no doubt in my mind that it's clear now. Famous last words. If you will recall, the two things we've changed right now about the engine is this is a new timing set. That's a different camshaft. I went ahead and torqued my bolts down. There's my cam button from last time. I'm going to try to reuse it. I do believe it fits the hole pretty nicely, but I've got to line up. I had to do some little indentions right there to clear that bolt. But once we're in, if I can get it locked. Once it's in place, I'm gonna take my cover. And this is just a stock cover, exact same one I used last time. So same button, same cover. I should have the same results unless the cam is a little different or that timing set. This one has a Torrington bearing, so that might give it a little different spacing. But right now I'm just gonna drop it in place and put in 4 bolts. Hopefully it'll go back to its happy home. Sometimes it's a pain to get those little dowels in there. There we are. I think they're starting. I believe this is what they call growing pains. My button is up against my cover right now. I've got to take some off. And I don't want to take that entire amount off. That will probably be too much because this is at an angle. The bottom is nicely flush. Don't know if you can see that or not. And then it kicks out up here. So I'm going to take my feeler gauges, just stick in, see what I got here, and then take that much off the button. Now that I've got my bushing all the way in, I'm going to try this button again. It actually sinks a lot nicer now. Just like that. There we go. I'm gonna put a little bit of my engine assembly gel on the back of this so I know it won't fall out and that stuff will dissolve later. Let me do that. I'll put our cover on and see how happy we are. I realize it's a funny camera angle, but we're all gonna be really quiet so you can hear this, okay? I'm prying backwards. I'm all the way back. Here's our cam thrust right now. See that? See that? I think we're still right on the money, just like it was last time I did this. I think they call for 3 to 5 thousandths. Some people go 10, some people don't even use a button. And that's just wild to me if you got a roller cam, but I think we're still good. Here we go, driver's side. I'm glad this is an aluminum head and not a cast iron one. See how bad I can mess that up. I'm close. I got you, baby. Whoo! Makes your back feel good. It's on the dowels now. Let me run and get my bolts. And if you missed it, I had a little community poll on my YouTube community page on how many times would you reuse your head bolts. Y'all go check that out if you haven't. There's a lot of answers. Now it kind of looks like an engine. They're great. Ryan Barr's Nest the other day, we were talking about this. These are some ugly heads. The majority of aftermarket heads are big and square and chunky and ugly. It does not look anywhere close to factory anymore like it did with the Stealth heads, but they should flow more. That's kind of what I'm after, if y'all didn't realize it already. So I'll go ahead and torque these down. There's 17 bolts on each side. Y'all know how it goes. I'll do 3 steps and we'll move on. I can't emphasize enough how much fun that was to torque those heads down in the truck. I just stood in the floor and reached over and did all of them. Moving on, I got our lifters soaking in this handy dandy screw bucket here. It's nice because all of them can stand up. And I know they're solid lifters, but they still have little needle bearings that needed re-soaked, in my opinion. Our tie bars, there we go, will go up. I'll start there. I'm gonna put them back in. They're numbered on here with a marker. I'm gonna attempt to put them back in like they came out of that other engine. Low mileage, low passes. There we go. That's number 1. A little 400 that could. Number 8. Get on down there. I'll put the cam specs up again right now while y'all are watching me do something boring. In case you missed them last time, there's 3. Four. So about, I think, 12 more degrees of duration and 100 thousandths or so more lift, plus or minus. 5. This is 108 lobe separation where my other was 110. It was more of a kind of street strip deal, and this is, I think they consider this to be like a hot bracket cam or something for a 440. So in a 400, it really might sound rowdy, I don't know. There's 6. Like that. Smooth as buttercream. And I don't care what number's on this one, it's going in number 7. Just kidding. It says 7, so we're right. There it is. Yummy. I will leave the intake off this. I want to test fit it real quick just to see what it's like. The Valley tray pan is similar to what I had on the 580 because these are like a copy of a Victor head except they're from Speedmaster. So I'll check my fit of my Valley tray pan, whatever you want to call it, and I'll check the fit of my intake. He'll just take gaskets here instead of the traditional way. That right there is a Sharpie, buddy. All I'm gonna do is put me a couple fat marks here. I wiped that off with brake cleaner a second ago. And when we set our intake on and get it what I think is nicely aligned, I will scribe a line around every one of those and see how high and low it is. They sell different thickness gaskets, and I may have to order some, and right now would be the time. I've got some thin ones, so let's see how it works. There's our hand ported. I don't guess there is another way of porting one. Edelbrock Performer RPM intake that I did a while back. It definitely needs to come up. Gotta love that rock and roll. That's centered on our holes. I'm gonna give this a little mark just for now. There we are. Okay. My simple way of doing this is measure from that line to the top of the port, best I can. Then I'm going to compare it to. So if that's our intake, I'll flip her this way. I will measure from there to right there. See what our difference is. Are we high and low or what? So remember, we're going backwards. This is number one port here, okay? I got her at 440 thousandths. There's my 440. And these ports kind of take a tumble in right there. I know you can see it. It's almost like an angle mill where it should have been kind of milled straighter. It is what it is. Both sides are like that. I didn't really do anything at all on the intake side. Here's our 440. Right, dead on the line. Hopefully you can see that. So I need basically the thinnest gaskets I can get, which I have, and we should be good to go. I'm going to check the opposite side just for fun and see how close we are. And since this is a low deck, it's still a big block. I had people in my recent short that were arguing this is not a big block. I think they're probably Chevy guys or something. Not that there's anything wrong with Chevy guys. I'm just saying a lot of them may not know that this is a true big block. It's not a raised deck big block. It's a 400. Anyway, you got to buy yourself this tray, and you can see how nice and tight that's going to be. I may have to weasel it in. Don't know. I've never tried it before. But it comes from a company called Midwest Performance Products. I got it on eBay. I think all I need to do is bend our kind of V the sides in, or just tap it down. That's really nice. Nice stainless cover. That's gonna look good. And they give you these beautiful little button head screws that have an Allen head. Midwest Performance Products. And it was very fair priced. I'm really pleased with that. I think it's gonna be a nice, right on the money, perfect fit. I got an RTV, all that. But I can't put this in yet. Rather, I don't want to put this in yet until I get my push rods in. I can see how they're working with my lifters. I can get my rocker arms installed, and I can prime this oil system again. Just because I drained the oil out of it, I want to see how the rockers oil. Also, Rick left me his cut open valve covers, open top valve covers, so we can watch it while it's running and see what it does there as well. Smith Brothers came through for us. Got our push rods in about 8 days, 8 business days shipped and to my house. So that was good. I've got those dropped in. The intakes are about, I think 43 thousandths longer or 50, somewhere in there. Harlan Sharp says they want 8 thousandths between 8 to 12 between this rocker set. The normal rockers that I'm used to, like a KE, that doesn't have such an extreme offset intake rocker, those instructions said 10 to 20. So I don't know why they tightened these up, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start with 8 and see how we go. I've got all my studs in, washers on. I got my piece of TIG wire here to help hold my push rods up. And we're just gonna tighten down evenly to 25 foot-pounds. Right now I'm just gonna snug them up and walk it down. I like to get centered first. And this is kind of a pain leaning over the fender, but it is what it is. If I can center that hole down right there, then I know what to do on each side. Okay. There's 8. Yeah, it's a loose 8 on both those right now, so that makes me feel good if we just tighten it. You can always check it later. Right here. Yeah, I think I'm good to go. the dog. Sure all those are happy still. Yep. The inside two studs are longer studs. And I can't remember, I think usually Edelbrock provides them for you. Obviously Speedmaster doesn't, but these are the ones that I had in the 440 source heads. So they were the same as those. I did grind on these heads, like I said before, and once I get these tightened down, I'm gonna rotate my engine over and just see, pray that my pushrod clearance is enough. I really tried to give it all I could safely, but also quickly, because I'm not trying to stretch this job out for the rest of my life. You only get so much time to skip lunch till you have to go back to real work. Of course I have to torque that, but I've still got my 8. Yeah, I dig it. Let me torque those down and we'll look. I figured I would climb up in here so I can lean over and look in every direction. But before I do that, I gotta lash my valves. And I figure while I'm in here, I might as well drop the ratchet on my foot. If I do it in here, I think I can just see the backside of the lobe and do it instead of rotating the full order this time. So I'll start with intakes. I've got one that's like number 2 is already on the back side. And I'm not going to film this entire process because you would fall asleep. But it would look something like this. Two intake is done. I had to climb back out of there for a minute. I'm lashed up 14 and 16. 14 intake, 16 exhaust. I believe the card says 1820, so I usually take all 4 for the aluminum heads. And you could do a little more. I think it's gonna be fine. We should be right there in the ballpark. Prayers now that I'm all clean and clear. It was mostly intakes, but I'm gonna check them all. That intake's already rocking, and that exhaust is rocking, so I might as well walk around. I got 100 miles on that one. I got 100 miles on that one. I think we're gonna have a good day. Let me keep going and I'll let you know if I see something spooky. I got 6 quarts of oil in here. I wanted to prime it up. I put a new filter on. So once my filter fills up, I may have to add more, but I think it's usually about 6 or 6.5 to full. And I had to drain it previously to pull the dipstick out, or the dipstick tube out of the pan, since this is a truck pan. I want to see what kind of oil flow we got up here. If that's a fully grooved number 4 cam bearing, cam journal, it should flow something all the time. These are Rick's fancy valve covers he left me. I hope he doesn't need them back. I hear pressure. I don't see any real drips up here. Let me turn it over and we'll keep trying. Starting to get a little action on the passenger side. It's filling up that side of the head. It's not like terribly gushing out right now. 62 thousandths restrictors. I'm gonna have to watch it run, but at least we know it's getting oil to this side. Let me keep turning over so we can get both sides done. Let's see what it gets up to when I'm priming. Usually it has 80 pounds when it's running. It's that wonderful time to seal this baby up. Put me a little dab in here. I'm kind of digging their that plate design. That guy did a really good job on. It's fitting it like it's the perfect compression fit. I just wiped all the oil and such off my rails. You'll just have to believe me. Thomas Ward is a viewer of the channel. He had asked, was I expecting this thing to go faster? And I really hope it does after the amount of effort I just put into it. But also, I am indeed using up some of my leftover parts. That's what the truck's always been about. But yes, I went to a solid roller cam now instead of a hydraulic roller. I think it's about 10 or 12 more degrees of duration. If you saw the first video, I can't remember. I got my little alternator put back on with that brace and belt hooked up. For right now, I got to put my intermediate shaft in. I went ahead and spun it over with my pull button that Tall John got me and got it on top dead center, just rolled it back about 10 before. I've got to double check. I don't remember if that distributor's locked out or not. I'll do that in a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and drop this in. This is my intermediate shaft from Don, from a build of his that went kaboom. So another donation to the cause that I'm grateful for. The other one I had in there was a little loose. That is the roof of the port where it's machined out there, and there's my rough burr bit finish on that part. So not terrible. I need to bolt the intake down a little tighter. I just got it set down and the bolts in place. I didn't know if I need a thicker gasket or not, but I think what I have is going to work pretty well. I think we're all buttoned up. Remember I want to watch my rocker arms oil as they go. I had to swap a couple plug wires around, take a few tools up off the top of the engine. I don't have my timing light hooked up right now, but the distributor is locked. I double checked that. So if we do start up, I'll advance it just a little bit And tomorrow I'll throw the light on it, but I'd like to hear it run since I've been putting effort in here. So here's our first official startup. Roller cam, take one. Boy, don't you sound good.
I'm going to advance it a little more just in case it was
needing it. It's always one of those end of the day deals where you want it to hurry up and start.
my distributor's plugged in. That's a bonus. Yes, coil wire's on. I guess I can check there for spark.
I didn't see any. Try it over there, I guess. Negative. It's called timeout. So I guess I'll turn this into a little diagnostic journey. The thing was running when parked. So, and it hasn't moved. I'm gonna try again with my coil wire and be sure it is plugged on nicely. See if we can get a spark going down here somewhere. I'm not gonna hold it. It doesn't feel good when it hits you. Sparking now. I think we're about to start up here, folks. Now let's try the first real startup. I got my timer ready. Why? It's still sparking there.
Rotor's still on and happy. Cap nice and clean.
Surely that's not it. Can't be that bad off the timing. Sparking at the plugs.
Just before top dead center. My number one is right here.
Ooh, Shazam.
yeah, it's a little off here, but I'm gonna clock that baby. Let's go backwards, I think. My clip is just wrong and it's hitting the head and it makes for a bad day. So if I twist it back, like that right there. That fuzz out of it. Okay, my rotor's phased now. And here's one. Yeah, it's a little off. Let me give them all one, I think. Okay. I rotated my one. My one was here. I moved it to there. We should be making noise soon. First, official startup. It's thinking about it. Finally. Little poop. Let's give her some more. Come on. Oh. That's a freaking battery charge. Battery's charged for an hour. Hopefully, it'll finally start. This may be the longest video I've ever done in my life. I've been second guessing myself over and over and over and over and over and over. But the rules are the same. You set your time and the engine starts. I've done this before. So I got to doubting all that, like something's going on. I got my old wiring harness from my run stand that bypasses my ballast resistor. And I just took the hot wire, basically. I got on an alligator clip right here. Then I got my pull trigger right here. So now we're gonna try to start the thing. I just tried for a second and it sounded like it was gonna do something. So hopefully, after all that madness, it works. And if that's the case, I could have a bad ballast resistor. I don't know. You can leave it bypassed, but you can't drive around like that. Everything overheats, especially the cool. You probably end up losing your box at some point, but we used to drag race with it bypassed on a different car and everything was happy and wonderful forever. It would burn the cool up sometimes, one of those the round blaster cools. I said all that to say, maybe this can be the first official fire up of the engine. I also noticed a second ago, I need to pop these valve cover bolts loose. That rocker is touching the inside of that valve cover, and I could see the valve cover picking up and down when that happened. So I think if I loosen, I can shove it up just to barely anything and save its day. One more time. This fire's off. I'm gonna get my timing light going on and get after it here. Ruh-roh, raggedy. That one fell off. And I got to put my alligator clip on. I got so much stuff clipped up here. Crazy. funny.
Okay. I put my valve covers back on. I did see it oiling just a minute ago. The other valve covers were rubbing on every corner rocker, and that was starting to make little fine metal. So those had to go away. They are not compatible with Harlan Sharp rockers. And it'd be amazing if somebody had bolted those on and it didn't have a top on it and you just ran it. That would probably be a bad day. I think we're ready for another fire up. Everything should be happy and healthy now. And I don't have my throttle cable on, but I can still play with it here. I'll also set my timer one more time. I think I had it on 32. And we're locked out. So here we go. I can't make this up. We're all gonna watch that valve cover right there. I'm gonna bring the camera over there so you can see it. Give me a break, Speedmaster. This is the exact same old valve covers I had on here. My trigger. So that's not good. My rocker arm's hitting that valve cover. Ain't this fun? Here's what I got. I've been needing to put them on there anyway, but they need cleaned up, so I can't do it today, folks. I'm out of time and out of effort at this point, I think. I appreciate y'all watching. We're not gonna let this get us down. We're Mopar people, and we're used to this kind of stuff. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Maybe we can like do a burnout or something next time, or go racing, or I don't know. All right, Mopar people.